to bring you live to Cornelius Elementary School, where Houston ISD will hold its second of 5 community engagement meetings for the public from 6 to 8 tonight. District officials will talk about a potential bond proposal meant to upgrade facilities. That bond amount would be anywhere from $4 to $5 billion and would prioritize urgent needs. Judith Cruz, a former HISD trustee and member of the new Community Advisory Committee, is joining us now to talk more about these meetings. Good morning, Judith. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I understand this would cover safety and health within HISD schools, future-ready learning environments, spaces to help prepare those students entering an increasingly technological type-driven workforce. And then, of course, it would also modernize the infrastructure of these campuses. Talk to us, elaborate a little more on what this entails.
So as you mentioned, you already listed out the priorities that the administration is proposing within this bond. We know we have a lot of buildings that need a lot of upgrades, whether it's a rebuild or just like HVAC or other kinds of investments. So health and safety is of the utmost importance and really the foundation, I would say, of this bond. Future ready is most definitely making sure that students have environments where they can learn and be able to access things that will prepare them for future jobs. And then as well as being able to have the technology that is allowing them to do that. So not just like tablets and laptops, but the state-of-the-art equipment that will also allow them to access and be prepared for those future jobs.
And then, of course, I would suspect that there would be some training when it comes to implementing that technology. When you think of, when I think of the teachers that I had, they're not going to be with times as far as, trying to figure out how to implement this technology to teach it in a way that these kids can benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Training always has to be a part of any changes, and most especially technology. And as well as, when we think about certificates or other things that students can earn around technology and innovation, those types of that type of training would come most likely from instructors from the outside as well.
I also understand the last time the district called for a bond election was 14 years ago. This was back in 2012. And, as we mentioned, with time, any sort of infrastructure will age. And so now we're looking at, that modernization, the renovations, those upgrades needed. I know also the district has been through a lot this year. It's been through a lot, and for some people it's something that they're on board with, and for others it's not. So how is this conversation going so far?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand. There's a lot of feelings around the current situation in HISD, and what I respond to that, and what I think is important to remember, is a bond is going to outlive this current administration. The last bond spanned 4 administrations in HISD, and to really think about this as an investment in the future of our children. These buildings and upgrades should potentially last decades. And we have to think about health and safety being of the utmost important in that type of learning environment is really the foundation for a student to be able to learn. And so if we don't have that basic ability for students to be able to access that kind of learning environment, it will make it very difficult for students to be able to thrive.
Yeah.
And I would also add that there's an audit committee comprised of the board, and they have third-party auditors that are auditing different parts of the bond. That's what happened in the last bond and the bond before that. And there's also a bond oversight committee that will be comprised of members of the community. That is a typical practice and part of what a bond package comes with.
Judith, I understand, obviously, you're a member of this committee. Who else will be joining you?
So there are two other co-chairs. There's three of us total. Scott McClelland, who's the former executive from HEB, and former state representative Garnett Coleman. There's also there's several other members, current elected trustees, other members of the community. There's also a couple of teachers and others from HISD on this committee. So a little less than, I think, 30 folks.
Okay. And of course, people interested in attending tonight's meeting, it's going to be from 6 to 8 at Cornelius Elementary School on Houston's southeast side.
Yeah, and definitely an opportunity to come and provide feedback, comments, and questions. The proposal will be available on the website after tonight's meeting, and I really do hope that folks will engage and ask the tough questions and provide that feedback that's necessary for the administration to be able to move forward and hear the community and move forward with a proposal.